Please confirm to me. Please confirm to me. Confirm to me, guys. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you with your voice is clear. Is my voice is clear to all of you guys? One more. Is my voice is clear now? Is it clear? Yes, is it clear now? Right. Thank you. Right. Good morning, guys. Right, sir. And check it what we completed there in the last session. Anyway, before that, so it's an occasion for us to celebrate every person in this country. So on this particular day, we are conducting some classes and you are attending for the sake of a good thing. So that will be a good thing for us. Right? Because of that reason only, I'm taking class today. Even yesterday also some other trainers suggested to me why you are conducting class on tomorrow. But my simple philosophy is, it's okay. Independence Day is a celebration. India got independence on this particular day. It's okay, fine, up to Indians. But you are not having independence. Am I right? So far you are not having independence. Of course you are independent. But in the point of career, you are not independent. So you have to work. Understood what I am saying to you? So when you are getting job and whenever you are having a good identity, of course, now at present you are having identity that I'm not saying anything about it. So if you are getting a job in a software company and if you are having a company in your background, then there you will be have independence. Understand it now? So your mind is not in independent now. Your mind is a bit pressure, right? So that's why we are going to work on this particular day also. Nice, very good. But it's a proud moment for all of us. 75th Independence Day. Happy Independence Day to all of you guys. Let's come to the content. What we understood in the last session. Right, sir. What we understood in the last session. So we are discussing about the differences between Java and others. We are discussing about the differences between Java and others. Where overall, how many differences here we completed there up to now? How many differences we completed? 5 differences we completed there. Can you tell me what are the 5 differences now? No fans today. Specialty of Independence Day. Come on. But these two are mandatory. All right, sir. So first one is what? C and C++ are static programming languages, but Java is a dynamic programming language. Next one is, second point is preprocessor is required in C and C++, whereas preprocessor is not required in Java. Third one is what? C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages, whereas Java is platform independent programming language. Next one is pointers existed in C and C++, but pointers are not existed in Java. After that, after completion of this content here, next one is what I discussed with you. Multiple inheritance is not existed in Java, but it is possible in other programming languages like Python. Of course, in C++ is also be possible, but not required up to that level in C++. Due to some features, it might be possible, But in Java, it is totally restricted. Observe carefully. Then after that, today we are understanding one more point. What about this another point here? Destructors are not existed in Java, but destructors are required in C++. Right, so now before going to understand these destructors existed or not existed in Java and in C++, I'll give one simple example for our better understanding purpose. Let's observe carefully. Right, sir. Now we are staying at Hyderabad. Hyderabad Municipal Corporation is available. Okay. Observe carefully. Today is an occasion, August 15th, Independence Day occasion, where GHMC, Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation, has revised their rules and regulations, and today onwards they want to give some new rules to you for the citizens of Hyderabad. What new rules they want to put on the top of our head from today onwards? Two types of rules, two cases I'm telling there. Try to recognize the two cases now. Case number one. All citizens of Hyderabad, those who are creating garbage, those who are creating wastage at your home, you should take the responsibility of carrying that wastage to outside of the Hyderabad. That means in outskirts of the Hyderabad, some wastage dumps are available. You must take the responsibility of carrying that wastage to the outside of the Hyderabad dumps. You should take the responsibility. GHMC, part of the GHMC, then we are not responsible for that particular thing. You must take the responsibility to carry your wastage to outskirts of the Hyderabad. Right? Think a moment about it. Is it an advantage to the? Is it an advantage to the all citizens or disadvantage to the citizens? No. What citizens are thinking about this particular rule? Is a burdenful thing for the citizens or not? Say, for example, every day morning at 7 o'clock, some wastage might be you are creating. As we are the citizens of Hyderabad, as we created the garbage, if we are taking the responsibility to carry this wastage outside of the city at early morning 6 onwards, every citizen should take their bike or car to carry that wastage outside of the city or not. There again, traffic problem will come there. So this is not good idea. What GHMC is taking that step, it is not good idea. Why? Because citizens are having burden. Citizens are having burden. Understand it clearly. If citizens are having that much of burden, where is the support from GHMC for the citizens? No. Where is the support from GHMC? If GHMC is an organization, if it is running properly, definitely it should provide some flexibility for the citizens of Hyderabad. But if citizens are taking care about their garbage to outside of the city, if they are taking the responsibility to move their garbage to outside of the city, then where is the support from GHMC? Understand my point here? But of course, citizens are creating garbage. But again, they are taking responsibility to move their garbage to outskirts of the city in the sense, where is the support from GHMC? In this point of view, as a citizen of Hyderabad, I'm not thinking good about the GHMC. I'll think bad about this GHMC. The GHMC ruling is not good. GHMC is not providing good support for the citizens. This is case number one. So it might be a failure case. Case number two. Case number two. Case number two is what now? Today is August 15th. On this particular day, we are giving one announcement to all the citizens of Hyderabad. What is that announcement there? You can create garbage. You can create wastage at your home. Don't worry. How much you want to create, you can create. Keep that wastage just outside of your door. Keep that wastage outside of your door. That's it. We are the GHMC. We will send our boys to your home doorstep, and our boys will collect your garbage, and we will take the responsibility of moving that wastage to outskirts of the Hyderabad, where separate wastage dumps are available, garbage dumps are available. We will take the responsibility to carry your wastage to outskirts of the Hyderabad. You are not going to take any responsibility. You are responsible for creating. You are responsible for creating garbage only, but you don't take any responsibility to move out that garbage to outskirts of the city. We are the GHMC. We will take that responsibility to carry your garbage to outskirts of the city. Now think a minute about this. How GHMC is giving support for all the citizens. Now this time GHMC is providing good services for the citizens or not? Come on guys, you have to understand it. Now GHMC is providing good support to the citizens or not? Everybody understand my point here. GHMC is taking good support for the citizens or not? Now the case number 2 is a good case when compared with the case number 1. Case number 2 is a good case when compared with the case number 1. Am I right or not? Simply speaking, that case number 1, where citizens are taking responsibility of creating garbage and moving that garbage to outside of the city, that simply case number 1 is nothing but C++. Case number 2, that means you have to create, citizens have to create garbage, but don't take any responsibility to destroy it. GHMC will take the responsibility now. Now this case is nothing but Java. Observe carefully. Is nothing but what? Java. Understand clear? See, not even that example, guys. I'll go for some other simple example. Nowadays, number of hotels are available in the city. If you go to any hotel, nowadays, self-service is going on at each and every hotel, maybe maximum. Self-service. Here, two cases are available. In case number 1, you can collect your food items from the kitchen or maybe the counter. You can collect your food item from the counter. You got it. Then you are taken that food. You have taken that food. Some wastage is available. Where if that hotel management is giving conditions to you, whatever the wastage you created there, just keep that wastage to the dustbin. Case number 1. Case number 2, you can take food item from the kitchen or maybe counter. You can take it. Then after that, some wastage might be created. Then keep that wastage there only. Our person will come to your bench or your chair. He will clean that wastage. This is the second case now. That means we are the programmers. That means we are the citizens. That we are the customers. If a hotel is giving conditions to us, clear your wastage immediately after completing your food, then this is case number 1. Case number 2 is what? Don't clear your wastage there. Our people will take the responsibility of clearing that wastage. No, that is case number 2. Which one is flexible for us? No, definitely the second case is more flexible for the customers care. No? So here also the same point here. What I'm telling to you, case number 1 is a C++. Case number 2 is what? No, Java. Altogether, finally, what I'm telling to you, finally, what is my meaning actually? In object-oriented programming languages, of course, it may be C++, Java, or Python, whatever it may be. In object-oriented programming languages, we have to represent the data in the form of objects. Am I right? We are going to represent the data in the form of objects. Whenever we are representing data in the form of objects, there we have to create the objects. There we have to create objects. Initially at the starting point of the program, or maybe in the middle of the program, wherever it may be, before storing data in the form of objects, first we have to create the objects. Okay, we created objects. After that, we have to store data inside the objects. We stored data inside the object also. Then what next? At the end of the program, at least, we have to destroy that objects. At the starting point of the program, we have to create objects. In the middle of the program, we have to keep data inside the objects. We can use the data as per our requirement. At least at the end of the program, we have to destroy that objects. Am I right or not? At least at the end of the program, we have to destroy that objects. Get my point or not? So here, 2 operations are minimum in all the object-oriented programming. What 2 operations are minimum in all the object-oriented programming languages? No, creating objects and destroying objects. These 2 operations are minimum. In all the object-oriented programming languages, creating objects and destroying objects are the 2 operations which are mandatory. Okay, fine. In object-oriented programming languages, to create objects, in object-oriented programming languages, to create objects, we have a special feature in all the object-oriented programming languages. That the special feature will be constructor. That special feature will be what? Constructor. Yes, observe carefully. That special feature will be what? Constructor. By using constructors, we are going to prepare objects in all the object-oriented programming languages. At the same time, to destroy the objects, at the same time, to destroy the objects, to destroy the objects, to destroy the objects, all object-oriented programming languages have given again a special feature. That special feature is destructors. Destructors. What's that feature there? No, destructors. Come on, guys. Now tell me, in all the object-oriented programming languages, to create objects, which feature was provided by object-oriented programming languages? No, constructor. To destroy the objects, which feature was provided by object-oriented programming languages? No, destructors. Getting clarity or not? So constructors for creating objects, destructors for destroying objects. Okay, good. Now I'm asking one question to you. Now try to understand this. Not a question, some information. In a C and in a C++, not in a C. C is not an object-oriented programming language. Just leave this one. In a C++, in a C++, in a C++, developers are the responsible for creating objects as well as destroying objects. In C++, developers would be the responsible for creating objects and destroying objects. For creating objects, developers will use constructors. For destroying objects, developers will use destructors. For creating objects, developers will use constructors. For destroying objects, developers will use destructors. This is mandatory for developers in C++. They must take the responsibility of creating object. They must take the responsibility of destroying the objects. At least at the end of the program, they have to destroy the objects manually. Unfortunately, if they forget to destroy the objects, no, what will happen there? Memory is full with objects only. Even after completing C++ program execution, that memory is full with objects only, where that application data is existed. Memory may not be available for the next program execution. Moreover, the data is still available in the memory even after executing our C++ program. There are some security problems. So many problems are available if you forgot to destroy the objects in the case of C++ applications at the end of the program. But if you destroy the objects, it's well and good. We created the memory, we clear the memory at the end of the program, that's good enough. But anyway, here, developer must take the responsibility to create object and as well as what? No, to destroy the objects. But in the case of Java, developers are responsible for creating objects only. Developers are only the responsible for creating objects only. For creating objects is the responsibility for developers. Developers are not having any responsibility to destroy the objects. Developers are not having any responsibility to destroy the objects. Developers are responsible for creating objects, not responsible for destroying objects. How, sir? How can you say this point? What is the reason here? If developers are not destroying the objects, no, who will destroy that objects? As you said already, in object-oriented programming languages, at least at the end of the program, we have to destroy the objects. You said to us though. We are thinking about this point. Now we are saying in a Java programming language, developers are creating the objects only, but developers are not destroying the objects. Then if developers are not destroying the objects, how objects are going to be destroyed? Who will destroy that objects inside the Java programming now? Observe carefully. If we come up with this particular question, answer is very clear. In Java applications, to destroy the objects, Java has provided an internal component. Java has provided a separate component internally to destroy the objects. Java has provided a separate component internally inside the Java. The name of that internal component is garbage collector. The name of that internal component is what? Garbage collector. What is this garbage collector actually? Garbage collector is an internal tool inside the JVM. Inside the JVM, garbage collector is an internal tool. It will destroy the unused objects as per the requirement. It will destroy unused objects automatically. Where a developer interference is not available, automatically that objects are going to be destroyed by garbage collector. As garbage collector is destroying the objects, then is there any responsibility for the developer to think about to destroy the objects? No. Is there any responsibility for the developer about to destroy the objects? No. Developers are not required to take any responsibility about to destroy the objects. Am I right or not? Why? Because already there is a tool inside the JVM. The tool is destroying the objects. Because of that reason only, developers are not required to think about to destroy the objects, so that developers are not required to use destructors in the case of Java. But in C++, it is mandatory for developers to use destructors to destroy the objects or not. In the case of C++, developers must use destructors to destroy the objects or not. As they must destroy the objects, at least at the end of the program, definitely they have to use destructors or not. But in the case of Java, developers are not required to use any destructor. Why? Because developers are not destroying the objects. Okay, developers are not destroying the objects. Then who is destroying the objects? No, garbage collector is destroying the respective objects. Finally, the conclusion is what? Destructors are required in C++, but the destructors are not required in Java. Yes, sir. All of you are getting clarity or not? Right, sir. Now, let us have a small note on this particular point. Then after that, we will go for like what there? The next remaining points here we are going to understand. All right, sir. Now let's observe this clearly. The first point is what? In a object-oriented programming languages, we have to represent the data in the form of objects. Okay. Here to represent data in the form of objects. Here to represent data in the form of objects. First we have to create objects. First we have to create objects. After representing data, we have to destroy that objects. At least at the end of the application. Right, sir. So finally, two cases are possible. That means two things are required here. So in object-oriented programming, to create objects, we will use constructors. To create objects, we will use constructors, and to destroy objects, we will use what we are having there, no, destructors. In object-oriented programming languages, to create objects, we will use constructors, and to destroy objects, we will use destructors. That's the point here. Then after that, directly I'm giving the point here. In C++, developers are responsible for creating objects and for destroying objects. So developers must use destructors. To destroy objects. But in case of Java, developers are responsible for creating objects only. Responsible for creating objects, not responsible for destroying objects. Why? Because Java has provided. Why? Because Java has provided an internal component inside JVM to destroy objects automatically. To destroy objects automatically. Right, sir. Java has provided an internal component in the form of garbage collector inside JVM to destroy objects automatically. That's enough, guys. This is the required information what I given. I'm asking one question to you. Try to answer for it. All of you know. One simple question I'm asking now. Everybody has to give answer for my question here. Who is responsible for destroying objects in Java? What is that internal component? Garbage collector. What is that internal component there? Garbage collector. Am I right or not? Okay, fine. Garbage collector is responsible for destroying the objects. Okay, fine. For destroying the objects where developers interference is not available, automatically that objects are going to be destroyed or not? Automatically objects are going to be destroyed where developers interference is not available. Am I right or not? Okay, but my question is there any chance for the developers to destroy the objects as per their own requirement with the help of garbage collector only? Is there any chance for the developer to talk with the garbage collector about to destroy a particular object right away, immediately? Understand my question here? Up to now, developer is not responsible for destroying the objects. Garbage collector is destroying the objects where developers interference is not available. That's okay. But is there any chance for the developers to talk with the garbage collector about to destroy the objects immediately or right away? Any chances for the developers to destroy the objects as per its own requirement? Yes, exactly. It is possible. It is possible. We can direct garbage collector about to destroy the objects as per our own requirement. Simply we can call garbage collector to destroy the object, this particular object right away. We can give that instructions to the garbage collector. But immediately garbage collector may perform immediate action or it may perform that action maybe a bit of time delay. That depends on garbage collector implementation. But there is a possibility for the developer to give an instruction to the garbage collector about to destroy the objects. It is not at a single set. Even we can talk to the garbage collector. Now this object is available. This object is not required for me. So I will make eligible this object for garbage collection. You can come here and you can destroy this object. I can give these instructions to the garbage collector. So garbage collector can come to your object. It will check whether this object is eligible for garbage collection or not. If that object is eligible for garbage collection, immediately garbage collector will destroy that object. That possibility is also existed. Not only at single side of garbage collection, developers also can direct garbage collector to destroy the objects. Guys, understand it. Why I'm telling all these points, just observe carefully how Java is a special when compared with the C and C++. How Java is more advanced when compared with the C and C++. Get my point or not? How Java is good when compared with the C and C++. Just have a look on these particular features. So where one of the feature is what? Garbage collector. That's okay, good. So this is the content here. Only the point is what? In C++, garbage collector is not available. And developer must use destructor to destroy the objects. In Java, garbage collector is existed. So developers are not required to use destructors. This is a simple conclusion about this overall content. Get my point clearly? Right, sir. Next one. Seventh difference. Overall 9 differences I planned here. Seventh difference. Observe carefully. Seventh difference would be, listen all of you know. C and C++ are following call by value and call by reference parameter passing mechanisms. But Java is following only call by value parameter passing mechanism. Straight information. C and C++ are following call by value and call by reference parameter passing mechanisms, but Java is following only call by value parameter passing mechanism. Right? Everybody observe this point clearly. All of you guys observe carefully. Before understanding whether C, C++ and Java following or not following call by value and call by reference, before this, first of all, what is call by value and what is call by reference? We have to understand what is call by value and what is call by reference. That point we have to understand. Then after that we will think whether C, C++, Java are following call by value, call by reference, or not following call by value, call by reference. First of all, we'll understand at basic level. Of course, if we talk more about this call by value and call by reference, no, more and more internals are available but not required. Explicitly how much we require the content, up to that I will explain there. Here my point is I need to show clearly the difference between Java and other programming languages. Not to talk too much about C, not to talk too much about C++ here. No. Just I need to say Java is a different from C and C++. As per that, this difference here I have taken clearly. Let's observe carefully, guys. All of you know. All of you understand this clearly. What is call by value and what is call by reference? Listen carefully. In all programming languages, any programming language, C, C++, Java, whatever it may be, in all programming languages, if we pass primitive data, as a parameters to the methods or functions, then the parameter passing mechanism is call by value. Come again. If we pass primitive data, what is this primitive data actually? Byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, character. Yes, sir. Am I right or not? What are these boolean? What are these primitive data types? No, byte, short, int, long, float, double. What next one here? And boolean, character. 8 number of primitive data types are available in Java. Of course, in all programming languages, no, int, long, float, double, character, boolean. These are common primitive data types. These are what? Common primitive data types. Okay, good. Anyway, if we pass this primitive data as a parameters to the methods, then the parameter passing mechanism is call by value. Okay, second point I'm telling there. In all programming languages, if we pass address locations as a parameters to the methods, if we pass address locations as parameters to the methods, then the parameter passing mechanism is call by reference. In all programming languages, if we pass address locations as parameters to the methods, then the parameter passing mechanism is call by reference. Got my point or not? Now let's see in C and C++ applications. In C and C++ applications, if we pass pointer variables as a parameters to the methods, if we pass pointer variables as parameters to the methods, then the parameter passing mechanism is call by reference. Why? Because passing pointer variable to the function or method is nothing but passing address locations to the methods or functions. Whenever we are passing pointer, you know already pointer variables are storing what? Pointer variables are storing address locations or not? Yes, sir. Pointer variables are storing what? Address locations only. We are passing pointer variable as parameter to the method in the sense we are passing address locations to the method or not? Whenever we are passing address locations as parameters to the methods, then the parameter passing mechanism is what? Call by reference. Get my point or not? Similarly, in the case of Java programming language, in the case of Java programming language, if we pass reference variable as parameter to the method, if we pass reference variable as parameter to the method, then the parameter passing mechanism is not a call by reference. Even though if we pass reference variable as parameter to the methods, then the parameter passing mechanism is not a call by reference. Still it is called by value. Still it is called by value. Why? Because in Java, a reference variable is what? What this reference variable is able to store? Reference variable is able to store address locations or not address locations? Not address locations. Then what it able to store? It able to store reference value of the objects. It able to store what? Reference values of the object. What is that reference value? Reference value is a hexadecimal form of hash code. Reference value is what? Hexadecimal form of hash code. What is this hash code actually? Hash code is an integer value. Hash code is an integer value provided by heap manager as an unique identity for each and every object. Hash code is an integer value, not address location. Reference value is a hexadecimal form of hash code, not address location. Reference variables are not storing address locations. So even if you pass reference variable as parameter to the methods, then the parameter passing mechanism is not called by reference. That is what? Call by value. So because of this reason also we can understand call by value and call by reference are followed by C and C++, but only call by value is existed in the case of Java. There is no chance of getting call by reference in the case of Java. Only the point is what? Reference variables are able to store reference values, reference variables are able to store reference values of the objects, not address locations. A reference value is what? Hexadecimal form of hash code. Where hash code is what? Is an integer value provided by heap manager as an unique identity for each and every object. So hash code value is not address location. Reference value is not address location. So reference variables are not storing address locations. So if we pass reference variable as parameter to the method, where we are not passing address location as parameter to the method, so it is not called by reference. Still it is what? Called by value only. Sir, all of you are following or not? Think people are not giving response to me. Had breakfast? No, at early morning, 7 o'clock, not possible, sir. Are you expecting breakfast from Durgasoft? No, this is also be not possible. Today is August 15th, right? Happy Independence Day. For this also no response. I'm wishing to you Happy Independence Day. No, I don't require same to you. You have to say again Happy Independence Day. Come on, fast. That kind of temptation is required. But why you are totally dull now? The problem with outside environment, no? Sir, what is this nonsense today, sir? Today is a holiday. Entire world is having some celebrations there. But we are the people, we have our fate to come for this class now. More than them, you are doing good things, sir. Now, please remember this. Already I explained that why I'm conducting this class there, right? More than that, you are doing right thing. Then after the class, just as a matter of 8:30, after 8:30, you can go for your own celebrations. Who will stop you? But don't go for your own celebrations now. This is National Day, right? Within that limit, you have to go for celebrations. Not like December 31st night celebrations. Fine. Of course, not possible today. Even any of you are having such kind of bad thinkings, no? Today not possible. Are closed in outside, I think so. Am I right? I think so. Today is a band day, right? For such people, right? Right. Anyway, guys, can I ask one serious question to all of you? Will you give genuine answer for me? Of course, it's a personal question for you, but still I'm asking inside the class. I want to check it. How many of you are giving genuine answer? Will you give genuine answer to me? No response. Yes? Will you give genuine answer for me if I ask a question? Sure. This is not the question for girls. This is a question for boys only. Can I ask? Can I ask now? All of you ready? Now people are not giving much confident answers. Okay. How many of you are able to cook food? Cooking food. Raise your hands. Please raise your hands, sir. What is the problem there? Okay, right, good. I think majority of the people. Now this time for girls, how many of you are able to cook food? Less members. Only less members. So girls are agreed. Boys are good when compared with girls, right? Huh? But actually, this is not my question. In the last minute, I changed the question actually. Some other time I will ask you. Don't worry for it. Let's come for this content. So here the point is what? What I am telling to you, guys, observe carefully. The point is what? In all the programming languages, 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 if we pass primitive data as a parameters to the methods, then the parameter passing mechanism is the parameter passing mechanism is called by value, that's fine. Okay, this is one point here. Next one is like what there in all the programming languages. The programming languages may be object-oriented programming language or anything else, whatever it may be. In all the programming languages, if we pass address locations as parameters to the methods, then the parameter passing mechanism is called by reference. Right, so now call by value and call by reference. You can observe carefully. All right, and now coming to the C and C++, here the point is very clear. In C and C++, if we pass pointer variable, as a parameter, to the methods, then the parameter passing mechanism is called by reference. Why? Because the reason is what? Pointer variables are able to store address locations. That's it. There's a point here. Pointer variables are able to store address locations. So similarly, what is the point in the case of Java, guys? Now tell me, what is the point in the case of Java? In Java, even if we pass reference variable as a parameter, then the parameter passing mechanism is called by value only, not called by reference. Why? Because what is the reason here? In Java, reference variables are not storing, are not representing, are not storing address locations. That's it. So if we pass reference variables as parameters to the methods, then where address locations are not passed as a parameters to the methods. So still some integer value in hexadecimal form will be passed. So because of that reason, call by reference is not possible in the case of Java. Call by value is possible in the case of Java. That's it, guys. Now these are the points here we can understand carefully. Right, guys? All of you get my point or not? So this is about like which difference here? No, seventh difference here we understood clearly. Next one is eighth difference. All of you observe carefully. This is very, very important difference. Right, sir? Hash code and address locations are two different things. They are not the same. For your kind of information, right from beginning of the class, I'm telling to you, reference variables and pointer variables are not the same. If both are same, we have to agree pointers are exist in Java. Both are different. Pointers are storing directly address locations. Reference variables are not storing address locations. Reference variables are storing reference value of the object. Reference value is an hexadecimal form of hash code. Hash code is an integer value provided by heap manager. Okay, leave it. Next one, guys. All of you understand clearly. In C and C++, in C and C++, integers will take 2 bytes of memory, and characters will take 1 byte of memory. But in Java, integers will take 4 bytes of memory. Integers will take 4 bytes of memory, and characters will take 2 bytes of memory. Observe carefully, guys. And before that, guys, I'm asking to you, all of you are having materials. Why? Because still I am dictating the notes, in the sense only less members are having materials. If all of you are having materials, the content will be available with you, so that I can put more concentration on explanation. I can speed up the content. So that's what I'm telling there. Not required to carry it inside the classroom there. At least if you're having at your home these materials, I can explain the concept. When you go to your home, you can check the content in the material. You can recollect the content through by seeing that material. And anyway, then videos will also be provided to you. Then you can watch that videos, and you can prepare your running notes also there. No issues. Okay, but content must be available with you. And moreover, whatever the diagram I'm preparing inside the class, whatever the notes I'm preparing inside the class, I will share the document to you. Definitely, I will share the document to you. Then how to share the document to you, I'll give a channel. I will show that how to download the document, how to use the document also clearly. Okay, leave this point, guys. Now let's come for this particular one. In C and C++, integers will take 2 bytes of memory, and characters will take 1 byte of memory. But in Java, integers will take, in the case of Java, integers will take 4 bytes of memory, and characters will take 2 bytes of memory. Difference is available or not? Of course. Whatever the statement here I've given, up to this point related to C and C++, whatever the statement here are given, little bit wrong statement it is, no? But in general, the same statement is going on, but conceptually that is a bit wrong statement. But I will correct it. Why? Because number of interviewers are asking this question anyway. But still same question asked is interviewers are asking. That's why I highlighted this particular statement, no? But that first part, C and C++, integers will take 2 bytes of memory and characters will take 1 byte of memory, is a little bit wrong is there in that particular statement. I'll correct it and I will give that explanation why this difference is existed. All of you guys, observe carefully. Direct conclusion I'm telling to you. In C and C++, in C and C++, no fixed memory allocation for the primitive data types. Memory allocation for the primitive data types is not fixed in the case of C and C++. That is variable. Variable memory allocations are available. That is totally depending on the operating system which we have used. It is totally depending on the operating system which we have used. Everybody understand my point here? What is the point here I'm telling to you clearly? Understand this point now. Memory allocation for the primitive data types in C and C++ is not fixed. It is variable. That is totally depending on the operating system which we use. If we use 16-bit operating system, some memory allocations. 32-bit operating system, some other memory allocations. 64-bit operating system, some other memory allocations. 86 might be some other quotations, no, some other memory allocation. It is not dependent on, it is not fixed, it is depending on the operating system which we have used. Maybe Windows to Linux is also a differentiation is going on. Linux, Linux to MacBook, Mac is also some differentiation is going on. Not a fixed at any cost. So by this also can I say C and C++ are platform dependent? Even with this statement also, can I say C and C++ are platform dependent? It's dependent on the operating system or not? Not generalized. It is totally dependent on what? No, operating system. In this direction also we can conclude C and C++ are what? Platform dependent. C and C++ are what? Platform dependent. Understand my point here? But in the case of Java, memory allocation for the primitive data types is fixed. In the case of Java, memory allocations for the data types, primitive data types, is fixed irrespective of the operating system which we use. Memory allocations for the primitive data types is fixed irrespective of the operating system which we use. Get my point or not? Okay, sir. Now tell me, in the case of Java, what exactly the fixed memory allocations we are having? In the case of Java, what exactly the fixed memory allocations here we are having there? Now tell me. If you observe this point here, first of all, tell me what are the various primitive data types in the case of Java? I said to you clearly, 8 number of primitive data types now. Now tell me, what are these 8 number of primitive data types now? Byte. Then what next one here? Short. Next one is what? Int. Next one is what? Long. Next one is what? Float. Next one is what? Double. Next one is like what? After this double, char. Then after that, what next one here? No, boolean. These are the primitive data types which are available in Java. Okay, now if you observe these fixed memory allocations for all these now, for the byte, 1 byte of memory, for the short, 2 bytes of memory, and for integer, for what there? Integer, how much memory there no? 4 bytes of memory for integer, and for what next one here? For long, 8 bytes of memory, and for float, how much memory you know? Again 4 bytes of memory, and for double, how much memory you know? 8 bytes of memory, 8 not 89, 8 bytes of memory, and for character, for char, how much memory you know? 2 bytes of memory, and for boolean, 1 bit, not byte, even 1 bit. That's it. So these memory allocations for the primitive data types are fixed in the case of what? In the case of Java. But these are not fixed in the case of C and C++. Depending on the operating system only, that memory allocations are varied. Operating system to operating system, the sizes of the memory for the data types are going to be varied. In the case of C and C++, that is totally depending on operating system what we used. But in the case of Java, memory allocations for the primitive data types are fixed irrespective of the operating systems which we use. All of you are getting clarity or not? Okay, good. Then immediately after understanding this particular point, I have one more important interview question. I have an interview question, guys. What is my interview question? No, listen carefully. In C and C++, characters will take only 1 byte of memory. Not much, not more than that. Why Java is required to assign 2 bytes of memory for characters? In C and C++, 1 byte of memory is sufficient to store character data. But in Java, why 2 bytes of memory is required to store characters data? What is the specialty with Java? Why Java needs to assign 2 bytes of memory for characters? Question is available or not? It's a valid question only. In C and C++, 1 byte of memory is sufficient to store characters data. But why Java is assigning 2 bytes of memory for characters data? What is the specialty with Java? If we come for this particular point, answer is very clear. Try to recognize this. All of you understand this. In C and C++, all the characters are represented. In C and C++, all the characters are represented. All the characters are represented in the form of ASCII values. In the form of like what? No, ASCII values. This is one of the character representation, ASCII values. To store any ASCII value, 1 byte of memory is sufficient. To store any ASCII value, 1 byte of memory is sufficient. In C and C++, all the characters are represented in the form of ASCII value. To store any ASCII value, 1 byte of memory is sufficient, not more than that. But in case of Java, all the characters are represented in the form of Unicode values. In the form of what? Unicode values. In Java, all the characters are represented in the form of Unicodes, Unicode values. To represent any Unicode value, 2 bytes of memory is required. How much memory is required there? No, 2 bytes of memory is required to represent any Unicode value. 2 bytes of memory is required. 1 byte of memory is not sufficient. Why? Because Unicode character set required 2 bytes of memory to store Unicode values. Got my point or not? So because of this reason, Java needs to assign, Java required to assign 2 bytes of memory for characters, but in C and C++, characters will take 1 byte of memory to store ASCII values internally, but in the case of Java, characters are going to be represented in the form of Unicode values. To store any Unicode value, 2 bytes of memory is required in the case of Java. Then immediately we are having one more question. Another question here we are having, sir. What is this another question, guys? Observe carefully. My another question is, what is Unicode? What is its requirement in Java? What is Unicode and what is its requirement in Java? This point here we need to understand. Very simple. Very simple. Try to understand it. Unicode is one of the character representation. Unicode is one of the character representation. It able to represent all the alphabet from all the natural languages like English, Hindi, French, Japanese, Chinese, Germanese, Italian, and local languages like Kannada, Marathi, Telugu, and so on and so on. All the natural languages are available. The languages which are having lipi, internally, that all the languages are natural languages. All the natural languages characters will be represented in the form of Unicodes. But ASCII is not having such capability. ASCII values are not having such type of capability. Only some languages characters are represented in the form of ASCII, maybe English language characters in the form of ASCII values. But if you want to represent all the alphabets, all the symbols from all the languages, no, there we need to go for like what? No, Unicode values. That is the capability of the Unicode. So what is the advantage of representing all the characters from all the natural languages? What is the advantage you are getting by representing like this? If you think about it, these Unicode representations are supporting, or Unicode representations are providing very good internationalization support. Unicode representations are giving internationalization support. What is this internationalization support? What is the meaning of this internationalization support? I'll give one example. Try to understand this example, guys. All of you know. Very simple. What is the meaning of this internationalization? Very simple example. Understand it clearly. For example, I'm the software developer. I prepared a product. My own product I prepared. Okay. My product is having very good demand. So number of customers are available for my product. After creating my product, down the line 1 year of time, number of customers are available from India. Only Indian customers are available. They have seen the taste of my product. But days goes on, gradually number of customers are increased throughout the globe. Not only from India, from other countries also customers are increased. As part of that, some customers are coming from Chinese, some other customers are coming from Japanese, some other customers are coming from Germans, some other customers are from Italians. Understand it clearly, what I'm telling you now. So now my product is a global product, not a domestic, not inside only India. Now my product is having, my product exposure is available throughout the globe. From different countries, number of customers are available now. But what is the problem with me now at present? If all the customers came from India, my product is providing very good services. Why? Because my product is providing all the services in English language. Medium is what? English. Indians can understand English properly and effectively, so they can understand my product services, they can utilize my product services. But when we go to Chinese customers, they don't like English, they don't know English. They know very well about their local language, Chinese language only. When we go for Japanese, they're also not aware about English, they know about their local language. And if we go for Italians, there also be they don't know anything about English. They know about only Italian. Italian in the sense, I can give one example regarding that. Really, I have seen how much English they knows that Italians. I can give one simple example for it. When I done my MTech at JNT University, I completed MTech at JNT University. When I completed my MTech at JNT University, at the end of the MTech, there is an opportunity for us to do PhD in Italian universities. The JNT is collaborated with Italian universities there, and they given an opportunity to us to do PhD course in Italian university. We have to go there and we have to complete our PhD. That was the situation that JNT University has provided to us. For that particular program, for PhD program, interviews are conducted actually. They are given opportunities for MTech students as the first one. I done my MTech there at JNT University only. As part of that, I got that opportunity. I went for that interview. By the time I took Java classes, by the time I took GATE classes also in outside, I had very good knowledge on this academic structure also. By the time, so I thought of it myself as a suitable person for it. I want to complete PhD in the right way without having any delay. So this is the best opportunity. I thought of it. I went for that interview. In that interview, what happened? Nearly 5 panel members are sitting in front of me, and myself is one person. Among these 5 panel members, 4 members are from Italy, 1 member from the JNT University only. Okay. Then what is the situation? Myself is a person, I am standing there, and all the panel members are sitting in front of me. There is a board for me. There is a system also for me. And they've asked some questions to me. Then I'm giving some clarity for that questions. This is going on actually. Okay, fine. Italian professors have asked questions to me. Unfortunately, whatever the questions they have asked to me, even first of all, I didn't understand what the slang they are using. As per their locality, they are speaking in English. Even that English is also be in a totally, how much I'm telling there, it's totally different language. It seems it's not like English, but they're speaking English only. Where they're using is, where they're using was, and what statements they're delivering, even not understandable to us. Not understandable to us. Then in the first question itself, I requested them, please repeat the question again, please repeat the question again. Then 2 minutes after they're trying to speak in English, in the third minute they're speaking in Italian language. How it is possible for me to understand that Italian language? No? Immediately my next professor is there, JNTU professor, no? The same local professor. Then he understood that Italian language information, he knows about it. He already is a in charge at the respective university at Italy. So he knows about Italian language, and he listens the question in Italian, and he is trying to convert that question into English, and he is saying that question in English to me. Then I'm replying in English to my professor. My professor is converting that English language answers to Italian language. Where is the problem? Where is the problem? Then the problem is what? Italians are not aware English effectively. Even they are not the students. They are the professors of an university, but still they are not speaking English perfectly. This kind of thing is going on. This is one experience I had there. Really, I felt that one. By the time I understood, okay, Indians are too good in English, but outside of India, maybe other people are not much good in the case of this English. Okay, this is a situation. That is one thing I heard about it. And other scenario, of course, I thought of it. By the time I thought of it, if I go to Italy to do PhD, maybe in the first 1 month or 2 months of time, they will give training on Italian language only. I thought I have to learn Italian language. Okay, I was ready for that. Even with that also, I was ready. I was selected in that interview. Whatever the answers I given there, I was selected. But because of this Durgasoft Institute, by the time only we started this institute, because of this institute, I left out that option. I missed that option, then I'm continuing with this Durgasoft. We are running there. And then in my MTech itself, we started this Durgasoft. While studying the MTech, and we are running this institute in outside. So that's why I missed that opportunity anyway. Okay, leave it. That is one situation. One more scenario I'm telling to you. One more experience I had there. Observe carefully. In the same JNTU campus, I was selected for 3 companies, where one of the company is HCL Technologies. I opted for HCL Technologies. They have taken interview for Hyderabad HCL, but finally they are giving job opportunity for me at Chennai HCL. Okay, Chennai HCL is very good, might be. Then nearly 20 to 25 number of branches are available. HCL head office is going in at Chennai. That's okay, nice, no problem. By that also I went for it. Then in the induction program, in the first 1 month of time only training, where in the first 1 week of time induction program, just formalities completion. So in the induction program, last day of the induction program, they asked to us, any of you are interested to work with Japanese projects? They had Japanese projects actually. From Japan clients, they are preparing some softwares. Any of you are interested to go for Japanese projects? They are asked to us. And then some of my friends have raised their hands, no? Then myself also, along with my friends, myself also raised my hand also there. Then immediately they said to us, in the next 1 week of time, 1 week of time, Japanese language training is going on and you have to attend for it. I went for the Japanese language training. One person came from Japan. He's giving training on Japanese language. I didn't understand it. Why all Java and everything is going on in English language only? Why we have to learn now the Japanese language? Even that language, sentences and all these things are totally different. Even I'm unable to speak out that. The sounds are not coming properly. But still 1 or 2 days after I attended there, by the time I understood this Japanese language is not much suitable for me. English is somewhat better. So I don't want to continue with the project. Then I left from that. Then I went to some other project there. So think a minute about it. Why that situation was available there? Why that situation was existed there? The problem is when you are working with the Japanese projects, you have to face the Japanese clients. We need to have some discussion with. We need to get calls from Japanese clients. They're able to speak in Japanese language only. That you have to understand. For that, you have to give response in Japanese language. So we need to have awareness on Japanese language. So it means that Japanese are not aware about English. Okay, let's assume it. I have my product. My product has a number of customers from India and a number of customers from Japanese and Chinese and throughout the globe. Okay, when I give some services behalf of my product to the Japanese clients in the form of English, they're unable to understand that English. They're expecting my product services in Japanese language. When I got the request from Chinese customer, if I give my product services in English to the Chinese customer, they're not understanding English. They're expecting my product services in Chinese language. The same situation over Italian customers, German customers, and all other customers now. So what I have to do to resolve this particular problem? Option number 1. I have to prepare one separate product for Indian customers. Another separate product I have to prepare for Japanese customers. Another separate product I have to prepare for Chinese customers. Another separate product for like what there German customers. If I do like this, how many products I have to rebuild again and again? For every language you are trying to rebuild that again and again. Maybe tomorrow a new customer came from some new region. For that also I have to prepare a separate product now. Day after tomorrow some other new customer from some other new region. Again we have to prepare now. How it is possible? No, this is not the right solution. Then what will be the right solution, guys? Now we have to answer for it. Then what will be the right solution now? What will be the right solution in the sense, observe carefully, only one product I have to prepare. My product should be one. But my product has to provide its services in Italian for Italian customers. My product, same product has to provide solution, has to provide that services in Chinese language to the Chinese customers. Same product has to provide services in Japanese language to the Japanese customers. My product should be single, but it has to understand the locality of the customers. On the basis of their locality, my product has to provide services in the respective languages. So preparing any Java application with this particular flexibility, preparing any Java applications as per the locality to provide services in local representations in a locality wise. If you prepare any Java application, then that service is called as internationalization service. That support is called as what? Internationalization. Preparing Java applications as per the customer's locality, as per the customer local language, as per the customer local conventions. Say for example, if we come for in India, where date will be represented in a date, month, year fashion. The structure is like that in the case of India. But if you go to some US, for maybe for example, where how the date is going to be represented, month, date, year. If you go for some other country, where might be year, month, date. Get my point or not? Regions wise, language to language, country to country, these variations are available. So my product should not be in a static mode. My product has to provide the date representation as per the locality. If the request is coming from India, date must be provided in a date, month, year. If the request is coming from like US, then date must be provided in month, date, year. If the request is coming from some other country there, where we have to provide as per their locality, we have to provide year, month, date. So depending on the customer's locality, my product has to provide its service. Then it is called as like what? No, internationalization. That is exactly called as what? No, internationalization. One best example I can say now. What is that internationalization, guys? Now observe carefully. How we are able to represent this internationalization. Already number of examples are available here in internationalization. Guys, am I right or not? Number of examples are available. We can observe this clearly. Now this is Google page, right? Now here, what are all these things, guys? Now tell me. What are all these things? Now tell me. This is what? This is what? Marathi, right? And so on. All the things are exist or not? So now Google is providing its services as per the locality or not? Understand clearly. So all these are Indian languages, no? Not from English, of course, is a common language. By default, it is in English only. Observe carefully. But as per our locality, we can select it and you can utilize it as per the requirement. For example, if I click on Telugu, that entire web page is available in Telugu only. Yes, sir, got my point or not? Now Telugu only. Okay, fine. Then if we click on this Kannada, that entire web page is existing in Kannada language. Then if I click on something else like what now, Hindi, that entire web page is existing in Hindi language only. Now if I click on English, that entire web page is available in English. If you're getting my point or not? So this is the best example for internationalization. This is a best example for like what now? Internationalization. Understand it clearly. Okay, that search you have to perform maybe in English or Hindi, depends on that product, how much it is providing there. Try one time in the respective thing. If our keyboards are supporting Telugu letters, or if the keyboards are supporting might be Hindi letters, no, we can search in Telugu and Hindi also there, depending on our language, what we are having. The respective content will come there. So this service is nothing but what? Internationalization. This service is nothing but what? Internationalization. Okay, good. Java is providing very good internationalization service in outside. Java is providing very good internationalization service in outside. How Java is providing very good internationalization services in outside? No, that is because of Unicode representation only. That is because of what? Unicode representations only. Unicodes can represent any alphabet from any language. If you want to provide internationalization service, for example, if you want to provide some services in Japanese language, Japanese letters we have to represent in our program or not? If you want to give service in Chinese language, no, Chinese characters we have to be represented in the form of program or not? So to represent Japanese letters, to represent Chinese letters, to represent Italian letters, to represent all the letters, so Unicode representations are required. That Unicode representations are available inside the Java. So Java is providing very good internationalization service. Yes, sir, all of you are getting my point or not? So because of this reason, Unicodes are required in Java. But if you want to maintain that Unicode, if you want to maintain this Unicode, there we need to assign 2 bytes of memory for characters in Java. That is not possible with ASCII values, where to store any ASCII value, 1 byte of memory is sufficient. Because of that reason, today we are having the difference like what there. In C and C++, integers will take 2 bytes of memory and characters will take 1 byte of memory. But in Java, integers will take 4 bytes of memory and characters will take 2 bytes of memory. Yes, all of you are getting this difference now? I think so. Only one difference is existed here. The difference would be like what now? Operator overloading is not possible, not exist or not possible in Java. That's the point, guess. Ninth one is what? Operator overloading is not possible in Java. That I will discuss on tomorrow. I will complete this total topic. After that, I will start Java features topic, Java features, Java programming format, and Java naming conventions. Please remember this. If I complete this introduction part, on the base of this introduction part, I will conduct one written test. One exam I will conduct, then everybody has to appear for that exam. On the base of this introduction part, one topic is going to be completed, one unit is going to be completed. On the base of that unit, I will conduct one exam. So when I complete Java naming conventions and Java programming format, then directly we will get one interview. Interview in the sense one written test I will conduct there. There we can go for it. So by that you can check how much you understood there, where you missed, and where you understood clearly. As per that you can improve yourself. Okay. After this first unit introduction, I will conduct one exam. Please remember this. Maybe in the mid of next week that exam is going to be happen. Okay. Right, guys. That's all for today. And tomorrow we'll continue. Tomorrow I will complete this part and I will start Java features topic on tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. I'll start on tomorrow. And Jayant, I will give full stack courses information there. Don't worry. Still, it will take some time now. Then after that, I will give that information to you. Don't worry. Okay. And 1 minute, 1 minute. Any of you are joined for basic Java, full stack Java, and complete Java packages? No, those who joined for that offline. In offline, you will have Oracle classes on 17th. At what time there? At 10 o'clock. Please be prepared for it. Those who join for packages, those who are having Oracle class in our course, then you have to join for Oracle class at 10 o'clock on 17th. Please remember this. Thank you. And guys, and for online students, I'll give roadmap again. Don't worry for it. Then when Oracle course is going to be started, when like UI technologies are going to be started, then I'll give that information to you. Don't worry for it. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, this is full stack also. Don't worry.